Hello, and welcome to Daily Work Remote Strategies. Today is Ask the Coaches with your coach, Sandy Lewis.
Yay!
And Senia Maymin. And we have a few questions teed up, so we're going to get right into it. First question. Sandy, in this time where we've all been working from home, sitting at home quarantine for a long number of weeks, what should somebody do when they're new to a job? So when they have taken on a new job, it might even be something that they've gotten before the coronavirus, but they are new to a job and they are in a leadership position. So in a sense, I realize this is a two-part question. When you are in a leadership position and you're going to be leading people, what should you do as you come in new? And also kind of layering on that, the layer of that you're going to be doing this virtually. Take it away. We'll just ping pong back and forth.
Yeah, I was leading a workshop this morning with leaders on a similar topic, a related topic, and I think that what really came out was not to assume, right? So first of all, don't assume you know the person. You might know their resume, you might know where they worked before, they might have even been in a similar department, but don't assume you know them, and bring curiosity. So bring curiosity, ask how they're doing, literally ask how they're doing, ask how they like to work. How do they like to be recognized? You know, today I asked the question, I had about 12 people on and I said, so who likes to be recognized publicly? I was the only one with my hand up. Everybody else. So then know your person, get to know them and think about it, right? So whether you have tools such as DISC or Myers-Briggs, whatever might be given to them before they start with you, kind of look for the cues. Do they want to be recognized in this way? What are they hoping for? These are just really good get to know you conversations. Yeah, and pause and listen. But so much research has been coming out that's showing us that when people feel cared for by their leaders, they stay, they're more engaged, they're more connected. So how do you show care? Which is asking, listening, trying to get to know them as humans. And then there's also giving them the clarity of their role and those kinds of things. That's kind of the kickoff.
It sounds like you're saying be a human with people and try to figure out a little more about who they are.
Yeah.
Which is very normal when you start a new role. It's very normal to say, hey, we haven't met before. Can we walk through each other's backgrounds? It's super normal.
Not always normal. It's surprising how people go because maybe they've had this position open for 3 months, right? You're the leader and they come on. I see this all the time. Okay, here's your job description. Sit down. There's your laptop. IT's coming in. HR is coming in. And then you're left more often than not. So remember that there's a human being. And now remember there's a human being on the other side of the laptop or your Google Meets or whatever you're using. It's not intuitive, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's really interesting. You're reminding me of some good advice that I've heard about delegating, which is that delegating has a bit of a ramp at the beginning if you're doing it right. It's not like, hey, here it is, go. It's that back and forth, that in a sense, integration or negotiation of what's going on. What do you really mean by this when you first delegate a project?
Yeah, yeah. And how can I help you? Like just good questions like that so that you know who's there. We don't just show up as our resume. We show up as a human being. Do they have kids at home? What's going on in their world? I mean, they're your employee now, so there are questions you can ask that you can't ask during the interviews. What do they need? Do they need special time? Whatever that is. But really just kind of thinking about, it sounds a little weird, I've never thought about this, but kind of when you just start to date or you meet a new friend or something like that, how do you want to connect and show up as your best self, but also connect with that person? Sort of how I would look at it.
Awesome. And I would add, so let me summarize yours, and then I would add one other that I've found super useful. So you're saying connect as a person. You're saying also clarify the goals and the roles. So have that discussion about what their work responsibilities are, what yours are. And did you mention a different category? You mentioned sort of this operational. Make sure that they have the resources they need.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I would add something between your 1 and your 2, so find out how they are as a person and discuss the goals and roles. I had a great experience once, and this was actually, you'll know him because he's a coach in our group, with David Paulet. He and I were in the same group, and in that group, we had 4 of us in the group, and all the groups split apart, and we were supposed to start to work on a project. But before we worked on the project, David took our group, myself and 2 others, and said, how do each of you like to work?
Yeah.
It wasn't the right time. It wasn't we didn't have enough time, but it was so good. It was so good. And we all talked about how we like to work. One of us likes to finish things weeks in advance. One likes to finish right at the deadline. Two of us like to finish things in the middle before the deadline. Just even things like that.
Yeah,
Do you,
beautiful.
email, text, phone, what's the best way? And I think we assume either, oh, everybody will like it my way, or we'll figure it out. But if you talk about it, you don't have those weird assumptions. Oh, that person didn't reply to my email. Well, actually, that person doesn't reply to emails after 6 p.m., but they'll reply to a text if it's important. So those kinds of nuances. So that
Yeah,
I
and
call it communication coordination.
absolutely, that's beautiful. And then to that, what are things that I have that are unstated, right? I do like a return email within a half an hour, or I want to know you're there, or I'm fine if it's by tomorrow, right? Setting those things that we think about working effectively, if we can get rid of that buzz of what's in the way, right? Those questions that I don't have answered, or those little frustrations, they're usually around clarity of some sort, and they're around my behavior might be butting up against their behavior. But if we talk about this in the front and in the beginning, then we don't have to worry about that stuff, and it doesn't get in the way. So do they know what they're doing? Do they know who I am? Do I know who they are? Let's play, let's laugh. I like mistakes. I'm okay with mistakes, whatever those things are. But it requires some kind of really self-identification of some of those pieces that we never talk about too as leaders.
Yeah. So now between the two of us, you and I, we've got to connect as a human. So get to know the person. We've got that roles and goals. What are the person's responsibilities? What are yours? And also what's important for you? That's part of roles and goals. What are they helping your group do? So that roles and goals, the operational, are you all set? Do you have resources? Now we've added communications, which is probably around roles and goals, maybe a little about them as a person. And then on top, in addition to those, I want to suggest the tools to our viewers that I got introduced to through a client who was leading a team and told me he'd been doing this in many, many roles. He has a how to work with me document. And I've since recommended this to other leaders that I've coached. It can be a 5-slide PowerPoint. It can be a Word document. It can be whatever you like. But it includes things like best ways to communicate. It includes expectations like, I would rather you fail and let me know earlier than fail bigger and later. So just that, what's the relative cost and benefit? I want to hear things early. I prefer that you include everybody in the department, whatever it is, whatever the preferences are. But that, like you said, to create that document takes a little bit of self-understanding and introspection.
Yeah, I love that. Right. Even you get in and is it a reply all type of community, you know? I'm not a reply all person. And then people have told me, well, why aren't you copying me? Oh, right. I tend to not reply all, right? That's a behavior, right? An expectation. That's beautiful. I love that. I'm grabbing that.
And I would add something to that thing that I've seen people do, which is the here's how to work with me document or PowerPoint, which is once you've presented that as a manager, find 3 bullet points of how to work with this person. And this person may say, I agree with this, this, and this of yours, or what's really important for me is actually not to get emergencies after 8 p.m. That's my time with. So whatever it is, but if you know a few key, then you're on the same page.
Beautiful. Don't assume.
That's what you started with. Don't assume. Don't assume. We welcome you to tell us. You're going to see this either here on Facebook or you'll see this on YouTube later. Let us know how it's going. Let us know which of these aspects that Sandy and I have talked about are working for you as you take on a new role. Good? All right, next question. Question number 2 of our session today. We have heard this earlier, so now we're at week whatever we're at from not week probably, I'm not even sure, week
12 and some 12, 13, yeah.
We heard this around week 8-ish, but we're hearing it again. I am over Zoomed. And specifically, what can I do? I literally have 8 meetings back to back, or I have 12 or 13 meetings back to back, and I need to take them because I'm in a leadership role. What do I do for my own sanity, but without saying no so much? What do I do? Let's ping pong back and forth again.
Well, I think there's, again, don't assume. The question is, does it have to be Zoom? Is it a one-on-one? And I've been doing this with clients a lot, saying, let's do it by phone so we can both go for a walk, right? Getting up out of your chair, helping your people get up out of their chairs. The other question is, can I just show my face, and then can I not show my video so I can be stretching or standing up or doing whatever I need to do? Because not only are we on Zoom, but we're sitting. So this is the greatest challenge we've been facing as well. So permission to do something different, I think. And then when you're in between calls, rest your eyes. I think that, and I can't speak to this scientifically at all, but you think about this. If I'm looking at you, Senia, sitting in front of me as if you were sitting right here, then I would just be looking at you. Now I'm looking and I think all these pixels that my brain now is translating into a picture of Senia. That's a heck of a lot of work. So we're underestimating the amount of work it takes just to look at a screen all day.
Yeah. Yeah. We are. Thank you for your comment. We're going to read that in just a minute. Thank you so much. I saw a really funny picture on LinkedIn once, I think over a year ago, of a fast meeting. And what it was is everybody, they were in a circle. They were in plank position. So on their arms in plank position, and they were trying to have a meeting fast. So to what you're saying, Sandy, yes, we are sitting all the time. I happen to be at a standing desk right now, but I do have more than half my meetings at my sitting laptop. We are standing a lot. Can we change it up a little bit? Plank meeting. Yes, you like it. Good, good. So can we change it up a little? Can we, people who know us know, they don't always see it on YouTube, but we do that stretch at the beginning of the session. We will sometimes take a breath. I've mentioned this once before. In DuPont culture, for example, as a company, safety is really important to them. And because it's important, they actually required at the time that I made a presentation to DuPont that the first slide of every meeting is a safety slide. So you can do anything relating to safety. And I might suggest in these overwhelmed by video times, do something with movement. It can literally be as simple as, okay, let's take a breath here. Okay, let's take a breath here with a little more enthusiasm, but it can literally be rolling our shoulders back. Everybody will thank you for it, even though it may feel weird to do it the first time, but you're creating a culture. You're creating a video culture every time you're on. So my first suggestion is movement even within your meetings.
Yeah, I love that. And also really work to end your meetings a little early. You know, I can't tell you the number of meetings I get on when the person's going, can I have a bio break? Like right at the beginning of our call. Okay, just end it 5 minutes early. Give people that bit of time. Do they have to check on their kids? You hear screaming in the background. I've been on this last week. You can literally, I'm going to see the door banging and this poor person's on a call, right? So end it early, give room, give space. Yeah. That's great.
And I would add what you're saying, which is do some calls by phone. I've really been enjoying doing that. When they're one-on-one, I can walk around the backyard. It's just in my phone. It feels almost like a breather from being on this way.
Absolutely.
And similar to that, somebody was asking me this specific question actually, and the one thing is we get to choose our own calendars to some degree. So for example, Jeff Weiner, who was the CEO of LinkedIn, he used to always say in so many of his talks that he gave on productivity that 90 minutes a day belonged to him. And what he meant by that is he blocks off 3 30-minute increments or 1 90-minute increment, but that's not, nobody can schedule anything at that time.
Yeah.
So right now we do have the chance to have lunch with our kids or whoever we're sheltering in place with. We have that time. So if we have a meeting during that time, we're sort of taking away the opportunity even for us to calm down and to get away from this over videoing.
Yeah. The other thing that I've been working with people on is to arrange your calendar in such a way that you're doing what you love to do in the morning or the afternoon, wherever your period of productivity is. Block your calendar then too, right? If you are a person who's got to manage people and you get energy out of that, do that with people, do that on the phone, do that with video if you can. The other times though, just block it fully so that it's more than 90 minutes usually, right? So that you can actually get some work done. That's a cultural thing. And it's one thing to be in an office and you can just see that people are in conference rooms all day and see how they're drained, but now we can't even see that. So it's really requiring us to force culture change from within. And I don't think this is going away tomorrow. So we have to recognize it's not just temporary. So really be kind of jealously guarding your time. Because now we're seeing, and I know you're seeing it too, people working incredible amounts every day and then over the weekend.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was just talking with some of the coaches about how making the weekends your weekend. You were saying that as well. That is important. We thank you. That is the conclusion of our formal part of this discussion. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. We're here every day at 11 a.m. Pacific, which is 2 p.m. Eastern for 20 minutes of content for you. Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you.
Any other questions that we have, this is a great time to put them in. Here's what we're hearing and seeing, that you really like the roles and goals and the what's important to me. So a little bit of that manager message, and that you can use this with students you work with. I really like that. I actually had not been thinking about it. We've been thinking about it from a management point of view. And then the plank meeting.
I love that.
And oh, Sandy, we didn't do our ending thing. So we can
Ah,
still build that in. There's sort of our peak end rule. Sandy and I have a wish for you all. And I will say that of the things that you said, Sandy, I really liked at the beginning of what are you going to do with the virtual meeting, that human connection part. Because like you said, I mean, I think that it's normal, but you're right. It can be not just not done.
good. Thank you.
Okay, so this is what we're ending with for you, for people who are watching. Sandy, what is your wish for the people who are on this call today?
My wish is that if you have it available to you, take your PTO, take your time off. Too often we're saving our time for Italy or California or whatever, and just take it. Even though we're not going to travel somewhere, I've heard just tremendous benefits from just shutting off your laptop, putting your out of office on, and just being. So take the time off that you need.
And mine is sleep. And I think that's because I've gotten great sleep this week. So that kind of sleep where you go to bed early and you wake up and you actually can have as many ideas or exercise times as you want in the morning. So my very big invitation to you is to sleep, and sleep a little earlier.
Yay, wonderful. I'll take that too.
We'll take each other's. Good call. Thank you so much, Sandy. Thank you.
Thank you, Senia. Thanks, everybody.